A happy Monday to everybody. Welcome into the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Hope all of your weeks are off to a great start and you all enjoyed a phenomenal weekend. We have a great show on tap. As for what we're getting into, a major Brandon Aiyuk contract update, and did the 49ers fail the offseason? Pro Football Focus thinks they did. I have some thoughts on that. First, I have a lot of thoughts on growing this YouTube channel, which is my pride and joy because hosting this show, it's changed my life. And here we are, as you can see with these numbers flanked to my right, 122 people away from 133,000 subscribers. This is the largest independently run Niners channel on YouTube, which covers this team every day. And my goal, every time I hop in front of this camera and I throw on this headset, is to provide you with thoughtful commentary and content that is entertaining, insightful, informative, that involves you, the faithful. So if you want Niners shows every single day from yours truly, just hit that sub button and join the faithful family here at Chat Sports. We begin on the Brandon Aiyuk front, and you look at those two words below me, not close. Those are the two words that ESPN's Jeremy Fowler used when describing the contractual situation between the 49ers and Brandon Aiyuk. He said that the Niners and Aiyuk not close on striking a deal. Here's the report from Fowler on ESPN over the weekend. This one's tricky because Aiyuk was implicated in some trade talks around the draft. He wants a new deal. He has 1 year left on his contract. I'm told the 49ers certainly are open to doing a deal, but talks have not progressed enough where things are close. And so, is Brandon Aiyuk going to show up for their workouts? Hard to tell right now. The market is pretty set for him. Amon-Ra St. Brown in Detroit did that deal recently, about $28 million per year. So that's something for Aiyuk and the 49ers to work off of. But I'm told they are not quite there yet. Now, of note, and Fowler alluded to this, OTAs, which stands for Organized Team Activities, do begin this week. Today, actually, in Santa Clara at the SAP Performance Center. They run all throughout this week. They are not mandatory, but we will see if Brandon Aiyuk is in attendance. If he's not, that's the first indication that there could be a little bit of a contractual standoff happening here. The issue that the Niners have run into with Aiyuk is this. By waiting to sign him to a deal, the wide receiver market has gotten more and more lucrative. You think about what's transpired this offseason. Calvin Ridley, formerly of the Jags, signed with the Tennessee Titans a new contract which pays him $23 million per year. Aiyuk is the better player, younger player, more available player, so he's going to demand more on an average annual value basis than Calvin Ridley. Then a little bit later, there was Devontae Smith, who got a contract extension from Philadelphia, which pays him about $25 million per year. I'd say that when you look at the production during their respective careers, that Brandon Aiyuk is a better player than Devontae Smith slightly. And I've said this a couple of times, that if Aiyuk got the targets and the opportunities of Amon-Ra St. Brown was the first-team All-Pro this past year, and he put up stupid numbers on much more targets than Brandon Aiyuk. I think Aiyuk, who is an outside wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown, more of a slot wide receiver, better route runner, better deep ball threat. If Amon-Ra St. Brown's getting $28 million per year, then Aiyuk's range is within $28 million per year. And then you throw out some of those names who have not signed deals yet. Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. If the Niners continue to wait, and those players get north of $30 million, that in turn drives up the price tag for Aiyuk here. So that's the danger that the Niners run into with waiting to pay their homegrown players. But as we know, this is how they do business with this front office because we've literally seen it in 4 consecutive off seasons. George Kittle signed the largest contract ever for a tight end in NFL history on August 13th of 2020. And then the next summer, Fred Warner was made the highest paid off-ball linebacker, which was then overtaken, by the way, by Darius Shaq Leonard. That deal not good for the Colts in the long term. Fred Warner signed that deal on July 21st of 2021. Deebo Samuel got top 10 wide receiver money on the final day of July in 2022. And then this wasn't ideal, but Nick Bosa and the Niners reached agreement on the largest contract ever for a non-quarterback all the way September 6th, 2023, right before the season opener against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's what we know as of right now. Judging by what we just talked about and what John Lynch has said this offseason, the 49ers have a track record of taking care of their homegrown players. Why would it change with Brandon Aiyuk, who's such an important piece to what the Niners do and the development and the growth of their young quarterback in Brock Purdy, who they clearly believe in? But Aiyuk going into the draft was the subject of a lot of trade rumors. John Lynch even said, we were taking calls on Aiyuk and Deebo. We elected not to move them. Post-draft, Lynch and Shanahan said, we plan to move forward with both of those wide receivers who teams did call about. And negotiations right now are ongoing. Now, I've said here that I think Aiyuk and the Niners are going to strike a deal at some point. And why I'd keep Aiyuk, I've been talking about this all season. He's a great pairing with Brock Purdy. You're going to pay Brock Purdy. And in doing so, you want to be able to support your young quarterback and surround him with great complementary weapons. You always want to invest in your homegrown studs who you invest your time and resources in to develop. And then when you see them become an all-pro, why just let them walk? Aiyuk hasn't hit his ceiling yet. I think that he can continue to get better. And I love what Aiyuk is about as a football player. Has swagger, toughness, physicality. As a receiver in catching the football, he's so skilled. But he also cares about his teammates because we've all seen how he blocks. And for those who don't think it's possible for the Niners to sign Aiyuk, look at what the Philadelphia Eagles have done. It is possible to pay two wide receivers $25+ million while also paying big-time dollars to other players on the roster. Devontae Smith got $25 million per year on an extension this offseason. Then the Eagles locked up A.J. Brown on a deal which pays him $32 million per year. They're paying Jalen Hurts $51 million per year. Jordan Mailata, third highest paid offensive tackle in the game. Landon Dickerson, highest paid guard in the history of football. And they still have $27 million in cap space right now. And also remember this, that on June 1st, the 49ers will gain $18 million in cap space following the Eric Armstead release. That money could not be allocated after the release of Armstead in free agency, but it was a post-June 1 move pretty much, so that frees up those $18 million that the Niners can use on a Brandon Aiyuk contract extension, which could be the reason why we're sitting here on May 20th and there's still not a deal with June coming up right around the corner. If you want the Niners to sign Brandon Aiyuk to a long-term deal, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. If not, I want you to comment why. Coming up next here on the show, did the 49ers fail the offseason? Pro Football Focus did not like what they did. I have a lot of thoughts on that. First, today's 49ers Report is sponsored by Chubbies. Skies out, thighs out. Really appreciate Chubbies for hopping on board and becoming a brand new sponsor here on the 49ers Report. Summer is right around the corner. Our friends at Chubbies are bringing the good vibrations. Chubbies is a lifestyle apparel brand that makes every moment feel like a vacation. They say fashion is an expression of one's character, so why not let the world know you're down for a good time? Here I am rocking the Chubbies shirt with some Chubbies shorts, sitting by a fire, smoking a cigar, and Chubbies offers a variety of high-quality men's apparel, from super stretchy shorts like the pair that I was rocking, as well as swim trunks, which we'll show you, in 3 short inseam lengths to pants, polos, button-down shirts for when you need to hit up your favorite weekend brunch spot. Embrace the spirit of endless summer with Chubbies, the ultimate destination for bold, vibrant, and outrageously comfortable clothing. Do you have your new swimsuit for this summer? I was by the pool this weekend, just like Mitchell Renz, Marshall Green, Trace Gerard, sitting by the pool last weekend. If you don't have your swimsuit, check out Chubbies' Classic Line Swim Collection. Chubbies swim trunks feature quick-drying 4-way stretch fabric, an elastic waistband, single zippered back pocket, and built-in mesh boxer brief liner. So the best part about all of this is the deal, and it's a limited time deal, that Chubbies has for the faithful. And for a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners and our viewers 20% off your order with our exclusive code. And all you have to do is use the code CHAT at chubbiesshorts.com/chat. But this brand goes beyond just shorts. We'll put that link down below in the show notes, as well as attached to the pinned comment of today's video. As for the back half of this show, let's have a good, thought-provoking conversation here. Did the Niners fail the offseason? Pro Football Focus gave San Francisco a C-plus grade. And it was Trevor Sikkema who handed out these grades for all 32 teams across the National Football League. And that C-plus grade is one of the lowest among all teams in the NFL. And here's what Trevor Sikkema, friend of the show, friend of Chat Sports, I like him, had to say about the Niners. I can still like him and disagree. The Niners didn't make a huge splash in free agency, but signed some core players in Leonard Floyd, Yetur Gross-Matos, and Jordan Elliott. They lost Eric Armstead and Javon Kinlaw from their defensive line, but have the aforementioned new bodies to try to make up for it. Ultimately, San Francisco needs better offensive line play in 2024, and the only significant addition the team made was third-round pick Dominic Pooney. It doesn't feel like San Francisco got better this offseason. So did the Niners get better or did they get worse? We'll pose that question coming up here in just a bit. Let's go through some of the marquee moves in free agency here. As for the edge rusher spot opposite of Nick Bosa, Chase Young, when you look at him, is so physically intimidating, but his play is the opposite. It's so up and down. The effort, inconsistent. The production, sometimes it's great. Sometimes there are lulls. For Leonard Floyd, though, the last couple of years, he's been a model of consistency as far as his production and his effort. He's one of 3 players over the last 4 years to have 9+ sacks during that time frame every single year. Good bend, good speed, good twitch. He's better against the run, arguably, than Chase Young, and probably a better cultural fit than Chase Young. And I like the contract that the Niners gave to Leonard Floyd. He was already at the facility multiple weeks ago getting ready for 2024. That's what I'm talking about right there. And I think that speed component opposite of Nick Bosa is going to be very interesting to watch under new defensive coordinator Nick Sorensen. The other addition at defensive end was Yetur Gross-Matos. Up to this point, has not lived up to the expectations of being a second or third round pick by the Carolina Panthers out of Penn State. But at Penn State, really good against the run, had a lot of TFLs, good sack production, was a dominating physical player with long arms and a crazy wingspan. Last year, he started to find his stride a little bit with Carolina. I think he's a better scheme fit for San Francisco. Can he be Arden Key? Because with his build and with his ability, and you match him up with Chris Kocurek, who I think is the best defensive line coach in the NFL, who maximizes and extracts the best out of players, can he be that player who can play inside, outside, in that Arden Key, Charles Omenihu type of role? Because those types of players have been very valuable to the Niners. And the Niners, when they've been playing their best as a defense, have had those types of prototypes. As for Malik Collins, Eric Armstead is a bigger name loss. But Malik Collins the last 2 years has been the better, more durable player than Eric Armstead. And I think he takes up a little bit more real estate against the run, even though his run grades, according to PFF, aren't tremendous. I think that's a sneaky good addition for San Francisco, and he's like $10 million cheaper than Eric Armstead was going to be. Jordan Elliott, solid depth piece. When you look at the win rate against the run and some of the deep dive analytical numbers, Jordan Elliott, playing for a loaded Browns front last year defensively, was really, really solid. Good depth piece right there. And then let's spend a couple of moments talking about what the Niners have done in the secondary. I think right now it looks like Charvarius Ward and Diamador Lenore are going to be your outside corners. Demo is a player who's been ascending every year that he's been in the league. I think that he can be a Pro Bowl, all-pro level player this year. Given the ascent that we've seen, he's going to be motivated going into the final year of his contract. And then Charvarius Ward last year was a second-team All-Pro. Renardo Green's going to be your slot corner. So I think you kind of improve there with Diamador Lenore going to the outside. It's like a combination. And then some of the other moves. Isaac Yiadom stepped in for Marshawn Lattimore last year, played great. And his Pro Football Focus numbers were awesome. The deep dive analytic numbers passed the test with flying colors. That could be one of the additions that falls under the radar that could end up being very impactful for the Niners. Renardo Green going to start off in the slot. Demo, Ward on the outside. Then you have Isaac Yiadom as that depth piece. Rock Ya-Sin as another depth piece. Ambry Thomas could be a cut candidate. If not, he could be a depth piece. You signed Chase Lucas, who's a special teamer. He could be a backup slot in free agency. So I think what the Niners have done in the secondary is something that needed to happen. They needed to get a little bit deeper in the secondary, but overall on the defensive side of the football, I think San Francisco was able to get deeper collectively as a football team during the free agency period and in the NFL draft. Whereas last year, they were just a little bit top heavy. Some of the most talent in the NFL. But after that premier talent, there was a drop-off to quality depth. And I think that hurt San Francisco at times. And then you shift gears to the offense. You still have a loaded offense, especially at the skill positions. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Aiyuk, Jawan Jennings, George Kittle, tremendous players. Ricky Pearsall should improve the offense. A lot of experience at the college level is going to make Brock Purdy better because he's a weapon for Brock Purdy in the middle area of the field. I think we could see the Niners become a little bit more pass happy. And I said this during the draft because you don't take a player like that to sit. I think you take that player to be in addition to Aiyuk, Deebo, Kittle, Jennings, more 4 wide receiver sets. And under Kyle Shanahan, he's a former wide receiver. He should be able to draw up a lot of different route combinations to get those players open. And Pearsall, in turn, is going to have a lot of vacant space in the middle area of the field. Refined route runner. He can beat press man. And again, he's just a security blanket for Brock Purdy. I do agree with Trevor Sikkema along the offensive line. I mean, shoot, I've been beating this drum over the last couple of years. It continues to be an issue. And let's be real. Colton McKivitz, Chris Hubbard, those are your options at right tackle. You're simply not good enough there, in my opinion. Now, Feliciano and bringing him back was a good move. He's one of the highest graded guards in football last year against the pass and run. And Dominic Pooney, I like the selection as a third rounder. I think that he has the makeup, the ability, the size, athleticism, nastiness to play right away, but he also is a rookie. So the 49ers, in turn, still have premier players. I think they've built up some quality depth. To me, I don't think the Niners got worse. I think the Niners are pretty much the same team. And that's not a bad thing. They were one of the best teams in the NFL last year. They won 12 games. They got the number 1 seed in the NFC, and they still have one of the most talented rosters in the National Football League. I don't think they got worse. What do you think? Did the Niners get better? Did they get worse? If you want to say they stayed the same, kind of like me, you can type S down in the comments section. Thanks for watching the show. Appreciate everybody's support. Keep it locked here for some great Niners content.